So Skip, we've talked about transformation and pilgrimage, but how do we help transform a youth group to have a culture of leadership within the youth?
Yeah, you know, the first time I was in youth ministry at our church in New Canaan, I was the third youth minister there in 4 years. Virtually every one of the seniors bailed, but for 2. And we're off on the mission trip where I'm trying to lead and guide and nudge this group into owning their own experience. And of course, we had a reasonably challenging trip with only 2 seniors instead of the complement that might have come otherwise. We had all the usual hijinks that you would expect when the culture is kind of cops and robbers. What can they get away with culture, which is reasonably typical in a high school band trip or a high school drama trip or a high school sporting event, et cetera. The next year, we're on the second-year mission trip, and we're having the usual debates and wranglings about what time to go to bed. And 2 of the seniors came up to me this second year, and they said, we really want to stay up later. And I said, I just can't, I'm too tired. It's 11 o'clock, got to go to bed. They said, we'll put them to bed. I said, this is a recipe for mayhem and a default on my responsibility. How is this going to go? They said, no, trust us. You tell us what time they got to go to bed. They will go to bed. I said, we'll try it one time. What time do you propose? They said midnight. I said, fine. Well, you know, the kids will fight the old man about what time to go to bed. If they think they own it and do own it, and their seniors are leading them into it, now the group owns their ethos. The group owns their own behaviors. Well, the next year we for sure started to intentionally nurture senior leadership. Now, so many youth ministries are kind of decapitated by seniors opting out of the experience. I've already been on 3 mission trips. I've done this for 3 years. I've got aspirations of going off with some senior friends during my break. But what we found was the appeal to the senior is not, let's do it for another time because you're going to be in charge and you're going to be cool and you're going to be empowered, but rather, why don't you turn this around? Why don't you turn this around for the senior year as not ruling, but serving? Why don't you view this year as the extraordinary opportunity to serve the other kids, to be open to loving and caring for them, to guiding and leading them? If you turn this into servant ministry instead of I'm the senior so I rule, you may find that as you open yourself up to that in kind of a Philippians 2:5 through 11 way, you'll experience the love of God flowing through you to these kids. These kids will be, the younger folks on the mission trip will be so blessed by your care, your attention, your leadership. It will be one of the great experiences of your life. So we do this for our 3rd year, and we have 4 seniors who are terrific young people, but they go, oh, we're not really respected as seniors. I don't think they'll listen to us on the mission trip. I don't see how this can possibly work. I said, open yourselves, be servant ministers, be open to God's love moving through you. It is incredibly important to a high school freshman or a high school sophomore to be cared for and well regarded by a fellow student and a senior. At the end of the mission trip, we're doing the traditional pass the candle. And one of the young people on the trip, Kendall Evans, who was a junior, took the candle and said, I just want to talk to the seniors. You have cared for us. You have loved us. You have protected us, and you have taught us. You have changed our lives. We can't tell you how much we love you and how much we're going to miss you, but we can tell you we will never forget you. Those 4 seniors ran to the center of the circle. All the other kids ran behind them to give them a massive group hug. And what was born that day was those seniors wanted to stay being senior leaders for the rest of the year. And every freshman, sophomore, junior said, when I'm a senior, I want to do that. From that moment, senior leadership has been not a moment when we start to lose kids, but what kids key on. We have 3rd graders who are growing up wanting to be senior leaders. And a senior leadership program that started with 4 kids is now 52 senior leaders who are a 1/6 of the high school class, caring for them both at the high school and in the youth ministry and on the mission trips itself. I think we learned that from the kids. But a youth group that has its own leadership, that has a sense of its own ownership of its mission and vision, can accomplish things that no youth minister, however charismatic or gifted, can just drag them to.